November the 19th, 2017, 2:51 p.m. EST. The Liberals will make public their long-awaited national housing strategy this week, specifically, how they will spend the $11.2 billion earmarked in the last federal budget. Details on the strategy will be announced by Social Development Minister Jean-Yves Duclos as early as Wednesday. But we already know the Liberals want to build more affordable housing, cut the level of chronic homelessness in half and repair existing affordable housing stock. The focus on the most vulnerable is laudable. But the emphasis on social or affordable rental housing means that housing affordability for the vast majority of Canadians inevitably becomes a secondary consideration. As a new report by the Macdonald-Laurier Institute makes clear, social housing represents just 6% of the market, while homeowners make up the other 94%. The debate about how to get on the bottom rung of the housing ladder, and then how to cope with rising interest rates, has become a national pastime. A NANUS research poll for Bloomberg last week suggested 88% of Canadians are concerned about the price of housing. The MLI report, by former Conservative economic advisor Sean Speer and Jane Lunderville, a retired University of Guelph professor who taught real estate finance, points out that Toronto and Vancouver have become two of the least affordable cities in the world, with Toronto prices jumping 33% in 2016 alone to an average of $875,000 and prices in Vancouver rising to over $1 million on average. The federal government has a minimal ability to grow housing supply. Provinces and cities control land use regulation, but it can affect demand through a mix of public policies. The U.S. banking crisis has been cited as evidence of the dangers of government promoting home ownership. But Speer and Lunderville suggest it is entirely possible to support home ownership without creating a housing bubble. One of the most comprehensive but least understood ways Ottawa impacts the housing market is through the Canada Mortgage and Housing Corporation, a federal entity created 70 years ago to provide low-cost mortgages and support for returning veterans. These days, CMHC sells insurance to residential mortgage lenders to protect them against mortgage default. Any residential loan of more than 80% of the value of the home must be insured. CMHC dominates the mortgage insurance market and charges fees that have been rising, in an attempt to cool a market judged to be in danger of overheating. On a 90 to 95% loan, homeowners saw fees rise to 4.5%, up from 3.85%. It's still unclear whether this had much impact on the market, but it bolstered CMHC's bottom line to the point where it will be able to pay the federal government a special dividend of $4 billion over the next 2 years. The premium rate charged by CMHC is one area where the government could take action by ensuring the Crown Corporation charges just enough to cover its costs and risks, without penalizing first-time home buyers, who are currently subsidizing government spending. More likely, that revenue will be a source of funds for more social housing spending in the new plan.